Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Presidential D&D Campaign, where AI-voiced U.S. presidents play Dungeons & Dragons with me, Ben Shapiro, your AI Dungeon Master. This is episode 15, and things are starting to heat up towards a final confrontation with Father Lucian and his priests in Loudwater.
Thanks for hosting this again, Ben. I'm excited for what this session is going to be like.
Thanks, Obama. All right, now, for our recap, Joe, I believe it is your turn again.
Sweet, don't worry, guys. I have my notes right here.
That's a blank napkin, Joe.
No, look, my notes are right here.
Wraith, Amulet, Hamlet, that's all you wrote.
Yeah, so last session we fought a Wraith, found out something about an amulet, and probably killed someone named Hamlet. That's pretty close, right?
We didn't kill Hamlet. We finished our deal with him. He is the gravekeeper in Southern Edge. Christ, Joe, those aren't notes. They aren't even bullet points.
Okay, so 2 out of 3. That's pretty good.
All right, so to put all of that together, last session the party fought and killed a Wraith named Riker. Riker had made a deal with 2 extraplanar entities, and the ensuing battle for his soul resulted in him becoming a Wraith. At least this is what Riker claimed. As he died, he called out for Selene, who you all know was the woman who received the amulet in ancient times. Finally, yes, you did conclude the deal with Hamlet the Gravekeeper to provide fresh bodies for Silas the Vampire. Silas also got a special one-shot adventure yesterday, playing through when he was sold to Lucian by his friends. That can be found here.
If any of that sounds unfamiliar, the playlist for the whole series can be found by clicking on the link or visiting the channel.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ben, for that recap. Joe, thanks for nothing. You were pretty useless there again.
Look, guys, I got the gist of it down. That's all that really matters, right?
I mean, kind of, but details matter too, Joe. We also got you a new bow.
Oh yeah, I like this bow. It's magic somehow, but we haven't figured out how yet.
Do you remember its name?
Yeah, of course I do.
What is its name, Joe?
For Christ's sake, write down Thorn on your napkin notes, Joe. That'll probably come in handy sometime.
All right, fine. Let's just get started, though. God, you guys are always on my case about something or other. We are just here to play D&D.
That's fair. All right, so we start our session leaving the mausoleum in Southern Edge. Is there anything else you guys want to do before leaving?
Yes, actually, I was reading some comments and realized that we have no healing potions, and I believe that Kieran said that Southern Edge provides Loudwater with some. Could we go looking for an alchemy shop or something and spend some gold?
I don't need any healing potions. Can we see if they would buy the crystals we got from the cave, though? I had completely forgotten about those. And maybe the teapot, too.
All right, you are able to find an alchemist shop, the Swampy Crucible. Healing potions do cost 30 gold pieces per potion, though.
Holy hell, I could barely afford 2, and it would take all my money. What do? Make you immortal or something?
They heal 2d4 plus 2 health.
That's it? All right, I'm sticking with my healing word then.
Yeah, I'm out as well.
Are they willing to buy the crystals?
They offer you 35 gold per crystal bundle. I believe you have 3 bundles left?
Yeah, I think we should wait, guys. A magical crystal that can stave off magical curses is worth more than that in Neverwinter or something.
Agreed. This place is a ripoff. All right, let's hit the road then.
It is just after midday when you begin traveling north through the marsh of Chalimber. The mists still hang low, but you are able to travel in safety and don't run into any monsters or trouble. It took you guys a full day to reach Southern Edge from Silas's cave, so night falls before you are able to get there. Do you want to set up camp and have a long rest or just keep traveling?
We need to do a long rest. I'm still almost dead from that wraith targeting me.
Agreed. I'm still near full, but I have no spells right now.
All right, you set up camp and keep a watch, but the night passes uneventfully. The next day is spent traveling until you come close to Silas's cave. It is evening when you reach it, and Silas is standing in the entrance, a hungry look in his eye, holding a mabo by the neck to his side. I don't see any food with you. Have you really come empty-handed?
Shit, we didn't bring back one of the bodies today.
Nope, that was not a great plan, guys. Hey, Silas, how's it going?
He clutches Amabo's neck and a thin line of blood runs down. Hungry. Have you brought food or have you come to terms with me killing the dwarf?
Well, we didn't bring any people with us, but we did set up a deal with the gravekeeper in Southern Edge. He said he would bring you a body a week for pretty much a year. That's better than 3 bodies, right?
He grimaces. Food for a year doesn't help the hunger now, though.
What if we used one of the crystals? It could maybe stave off the vampirism for a bit, right? Isn't it a magical curse?
Genius, Joden. You know, sometimes I think we underestimate you.
I don't think that. All right, I'll pull out one of the crystals. Silas, do you think this would work as a temporary fix? It should help ward off magical curses for a bit. Might help with your water problem, too.
Make a persuasion check.
Sweet, I have great charisma. That's a 16.
He drops Amabo, who is too weak to stand and falls in a heap to the ground. Fine. Anything to be rid of this hunger. He takes the crystal from you and plunges it into his arm, breathing a shaky sigh of relief as it fills up with a black smoke. He relaxes visibly. Yes, that did help somewhat. All right. I suppose I should thank you for setting up a deal with the gravekeeper down in Southern Edge. That is a similar deal to what my parents had back in... Never mind. That's not important. The dwarf is yours to take.
Wait, are you still going to help us defeat Father Lucian? Having you on our side would be pretty helpful.
Also, even with Amabo, we don't really have any evidence against Father Lucian. Father Lucian sent the adventurers on a real quest just hoping they would die. And yes, you did kill them, but I don't think that's proof of Father Lucian's malfeasance.
And how could I help you?
Well, you could testify if there is a trial, I don't fully know how things work in Loudwater, but there must be some system of law that we can use to our advantage.
The court of law would never succeed against some like Lucian unless you had rock-solid proof. Even then, there is a good chance the people would just let him go. He could easily claim that he was acting in his position as head priest and protecting the town by sending the adventurers into danger or even flat out trying to kill you. The town is fearful enough of outsiders as it is.
Fine, then we kill him. That would get rid of him.
Silas smiles, fangs visible. I am on board for that. Very well, if you need my help in the battle against Lucian, I will come. He pulls out a pair of stones from a pouch. These are sending stones, so you can communicate with me over vast distances. If you need me, I can be there very quickly. Of course, it would have to be at night. Sunlight doesn't kill vampires immediately, but I can't be in it for long.
Never thought I'd say it, but thank you, Silas.
Before we leave, is there anything else you can tell us about what Father Lucian was doing to you or why he was torturing you?
A flash of pain crosses his face and he begins rubbing his neck in pain. You can see a thin red scar around his neck where it looks like he had been shackled by something. Yes, okay, I can tell you whatever you want to know. After being sold by my crew, Lucian took me into the cellar of the abbey and chained me against the wall. He took off the enchanted silver bands to allow me to gain my power back and then began injecting me with the blessed waters. I felt like my skin was boiling alive. He actually succeeded for moments where I felt the curse leave me entirely, but then it would come back, and I would become an even stronger vampire for a time. I was in that prison for close to a year. Then, after one time where he had driven my powers from me, and they were returning in full force, a priest came too close. I drained him in seconds, and it gave me strength. I burst through the chains and enchantments and fled.
So he was able to cure you, but like everything else with the water, it faded over time and it would come back in and make up all the time it was cured.
Yeah, I definitely think Riker was telling the truth. I don't think this amulet came from a god. Something else is pulling strings here.
Silas, all that Father Lucian said while you were imprisoned was that you were a weapon in the war? He said nothing else and didn't do anything strange?
He never called me by my name. He would call me a servant of vampire. That was strange. Other than that, no. The other priests never spoke, no matter how much I tried to get them to. Father Lucian would just come about once a week or so, and he would say the same thing every time. Servant of vampire, blessed are you, for you are an instrumental weapon in the fight against your master and evil itself. With this water in your blood, you shall turn the tide of the war. Trust me, I almost went insane in that cell. Those were the only words I heard for a year, other than my own.
Damn, that sounds miserable. Servant of vampire, though? Who is vampire?
A myth, supposedly the founder of the vampire curse. Many of the stories my parents would tell me... Never mind. Anyways, a bedtime story to tell to children to get them to sleep through the night.
Well, that's something then. So Lucian supposedly is fighting against Vampire and using the amulet to do so?
Even if he is, and that was true, I still think we have to kill Lucian, right? He is definitely a bad guy.
A bad guy potentially fighting a worse guy. But yeah, I think we still need to kill him. Probably. Let's talk to Kieran and then update Thorn first. Thanks for telling us all of that, Silas. It sounds like a painful memory, but it could help in this whole thing. We'll call when we need you.
Very well, I must thank you three. You've woken me out of my slumber. I must admit I got lost there for a while. Torture and isolation does that to you. I am not inherently evil, I swear to you.
We believe you.
All right, let's get on the road then. We have work to do in Loudwater and some priests to kill.
Yeah, let's hit the road.
You leave Silas's cave with Amabo in tow, making it to the road and heading north to Loudwater. You pass by the slain Otyug and destroyed wagon, and soon enough make it out of the swamp. You can finally see the sky clearly, and the air feels fresher, not the humid mist that hangs low over the marsh of Chellenber. As night falls, you can hear the sound of the waterfall in the distance, heralding your arrival to Loudwater.
All right, where are we going first, Kieran or Thorn?
I vote Thorn. We've been gone for probably a week or so. It'd be good to see if he's still here and alive.
That's fair. We did kind of leave without making sure he'd be safe from Father Lucian.
All right, you head to the Blessed Waters Tavern, finding Vadric in the main dining hall. The tavern is still mostly empty, despite the late hour. Sitting at one of the tables, you notice a familiar-looking woman, Melanie DeLaver. All right, guys, it is time to introduce our guest who will be voicing Melanie Kamala Harris.
Thanks for having me on the show, guys. Joe, it's nice to finally know where you've been disappearing off to when we are supposed to be working.
Hey, Kamala, nice to see you also decided to play hooky from the White House. Let's face it, they don't really need us there all the time. Just have to blow off some steam sometimes.
Yeah, I wish I had something like this when I was in office.
I would just go golfing. Do you all not do that?
Okay, let's get back on track here, guys. All right, Melanie, after seeing the group walk in, waves you over and gets up to greet you.
Oh, right, that's my cue. Hello, adventurers. I was hoping to see you return, and Kieran will be glad at your arrival, too. Does your dwarf friend here need help? He looks rather pale.
Yeah, he's been living with a vampire for a bit, not good for your health. Is there a hospital or somewhere we can take him?
Well, the priests handle most of the healing like this, but I don't think you'd want to go see them. Let's take him back to the house and we can take care of him there. Kieran retrieved Thorn from here after you had left, and he is there as well. You'll be able to talk to the both of them while Stapes and I can help your friend back to health.
Thanks, that sounds good. All right, let's head over to Karan's then.
As you leave, Vadrik calls out. Adventurers, a word before you leave, if you would.
Yeah, what's up, Vadrik? Thanks for your tip, by the way. Those priests are bad news.
Yes, I have heard some rumors about the priests trying to kill you. They haven't gained much traction, but I hear most of them. Anyways, I overheard you mentioning a vampire. Was he a rather tall fellow? Wears glasses?
That sounds like it could be a lot of different people, but yeah, that sounds like Silas, too.
I'm glad to hear he is alive. I saw him being escorted into town a year ago by the priests. Looked quite miserable, and when I asked, they simply said that he was a vampire and would be kept in the prison in the abbey. Then there were sometimes screams that could be heard, but the priests would always deny it. It's good to hear he isn't there anymore.
If you knew that he was being tortured, why didn't you say anything?
Well, the bandits were tormenting the town after that. Once the priests ran them off, they've basically become untouchable. Most folk view them all as heroes. There wasn't much I could do, even if I tried.
So it sounds like you're on our side then? You don't like the priests very much?
I don't like bullies. Some of the priests are all right and are honest and try to help the town. But lately, more and more of them seem to be just power-hungry and cruel. It's not what they are supposed to be. I used to be a priest myself. Granted, that's been a long time. I left the order when Kieran's father passed away. I like Kieran more than Father Lucian, I guess.
It's good to hear we have at least someone in the town on our side. Thank you, Vadrik.
Of course. There are more than you think that I believe don't like the priests. Pretty much anyone they've put in the stocks hate them. And I think people are starting to get tired of hearing how they saved the town from bandits. Anyways, just putting some stuff out there. You didn't hear it from me, though.
Thanks, Vadrik. You're a good guy.
All right, over to Kieran's house then?
I'll lead the way.
All right, that sounds good. We will probably end the session there then and pick this up next time at Kieran's mansion. Amabo looks to already be starting to recover a bit from the blood loss and constant drain of Silas. And I think you have quite a bit to talk to Thorn and Kieran about in the next session. Probably another almost combat-free one, but you might begin to confront Father Lucian at the end. We'll have to see how it all pans out.
I kind of want to just march up and kill him. I think Silas is definitely right, though Vadrik seems to think differently. I don't think Lucian has left enough evidence besides hearsay to be convicted by the town.
I don't know, Vadrik does seem to think that people aren't the biggest fans of the priests as of late. But yeah, even if the people all knew and believed the priests are trying to kill us, I don't think that would be the biggest problem for them. They probably would do the same to protect the amulet of St. Celine.
Agreed. Before we go, though, can we discuss this vampire thing? Have you guys ever heard of that?
Could I make a quick history check before we go, Ben?
Sure, we should roll at least some dice before we end the session.
That's a 26?
All right, you have heard quite a bit about Vampire, at least the lore behind him. He is said to be one of a group of somewhat evil entities called the Dark Powers, who rule over the domains of dread through champions. Vampire is said to be the source of vampirism, a boon he bestowed upon loyal followers in days where he was in greater power and not confined to the demi-plane of Ravenloft, which is where the domains of dread are located. Vampirism spread like a curse, though many orders of vampire hunters put a stop to widespread vampirism. There is still rumor of some cities far to the south that are entirely comprised of vampires, though. Over the last several centuries, however, it has been theorized more and more that Vampire is just a relic of an older time when people didn't have a good explanation for vampires.
So he is like Zeus in Greek myth? Believed in once upon a time, but not really anymore, but there are still stories and mythos around him?
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
Well, I'm betting that he is real, and that we are going to kill him. Don't worry, guys. I can handle the actual killing gods part on my own. Donatello isn't backing down from a fight anytime soon.
All right, well, unless there are any other questions, we will end our session there.
And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you liked the video. It really helps out the channel.
Thanks for joining, everyone. We will see you all tomorrow.